Hello everyone, Medic here, ready for another episode of Newsflash, the perfect place to catch everything you need to know about European League of Legends. There were some huge roster swaps this week as Misfits and, surprisingly, Fnatic decided it was time for a change. Misfits seem to have got a little bit desperate in the second half of the split as they have promoted their entire Academy roster, losing out on big names like SOAS and Gorilla. Now, the Academy roster has already found success this year as they won the European Masters in spring. Meanwhile, Fnatic have decided to do their best discount G2 impression as they subbed out Reckless and moved Nemesis from mid into bot lane. Replacing Nemesis in mid is the LEC debutant MagiFelix, also known as MagiFaker, as he once had 5 accounts in the top 20 of Challenger. I mean, that's all well and good, but I'm already Silver 3 in teamfight tactics, so who's really the better player here? Now, Fnatic's experiment didn't pay off for them, and it was a pretty tough time for MagiFelix as his teammates continued to int around him, especially Bwipo, who would have hoped that Rengar's invisibility was permanent after he got outplayed by Woolite. Maybe Rogue really could take down TSM. Fnatic bounced back to form as they took down SK and El Clasico on day 2 with the return of Reckless. The Swedish bot laner is only 1 kill away from 1,500 in the history of the LEC, so let's hope he can stay off the bench for long enough to secure that milestone. As for Misfits' new lineup, the EU Masters champions got off to a pretty difficult start as Neon accidentally sold his Essence Reaver while teleporting back to lane. It was determined not to be a bug by League officials as the AD carry dragged his cursor off the item when trying to select his health pot. Well, if you think it was all doom and gloom for Misfits, think again and listen to this armchair analysis from Drake and Durr.
Let's break it down for you. Misfits, the new Misfits, they're gonna make playoffs.
In an almost identical rematch from the EU Masters Finals, Dan on Jax came to the rescue against Rogue with an incredible Baron steal and secured his team something even more important, the unofficial World Championship belt.
We lost the belt, Jonas.
Following Fnatic's loss to Rogue, G2 had a chance to claim first spot all for themselves, but Splyce seemed to be a much tougher task than Excel on day 1. Now, G2 had been honing their speedrunning skills during the week with pizza, but who am I to judge the MSI champions, although I am a little bit disappointed that no one opted for the superior toppings of ham and pineapple. It all worked for G2 as Caps Zakali haunted XL and they took a 21-minute victory with the fastest win of the split. However, that sort of blistering pace was never going to hold up against the late-game kings Splyce, who on a 6-game winning spree after beating teams like Fnatic and Origin. Splyce held on well, but in the end it was Perks, aka Umayan, on Yasuo who took the win for G2. And finally, let's talk about Origin, because things aren't looking good for our spring split finalists. On paper, games against SK and Vitality should have meant an easy 2-0 week for Origin, and game 1 went as expected thanks to Nukeduck. Yet Origin couldn't take down a struggling Vitality. Apparently Jizuke got all of the int out of his system against Schalke as the Italian stallion trampled all over Origin. Now, Origin have always been known to take a little bit of time to adapt to a new patch, but they're going to have to get their work, motivation, improvement, and team on pretty sharpish if they want to challenge in summer. Now, Origin are tumbling down the standings with Rogue and Vitality hot on their heels. G2 have sole possession of first place, but Fnatic and Splyce are within reaching distance. That's all from me for now, but make sure you tune in this Friday at 5:30 PM CEST as the LEC kicks off with Week 6. This week we have Schalke versus Splyce and Fnatic versus Origin, so make sure you don't miss out.